Netherlands, there's going to be a change of the way the system works. So prior we had the Eurovignette, which is a time-based ticketing system. So we will have, now we will switch over to a GPS-based or GNSS-based system, where you will have to have an OBU in the truck instead of just buying this ticket online. So before you had to buy a ticket either for a day or week or month or year, and now we're switching over to this GPS-based system. So it means as UTA now we are preparing some solutions for tolling for the customers that we have regarding this new system change. It also means the change will be from 12 tons and above. Before, trucks had to pay tolling. Now it's going to be down to 3.5 tons and above that actually needs to pay tolling. So there's also a whole new segment of, let's say, smaller trucks that also needs to pay tolling, which they haven't done before. So it means for the fleet managers, they need to manage this tolling way more closely than they did before, because typically, especially in the domestic system, they just had this ticket that they bought once a year for the customers in Netherlands, and for our international customers, we had these tickets on, let's say, a day-to-day basis. So if you would have a singular trip to Netherlands, you just buy a ticket and then you go back home and everything is fine. Now they need to make sure they have an OBU, which they do in a lot of other European countries. So it's part of a broader change in all of the European Union to have one common tolling system and one common tolling box. So we have different suppliers that are supplying these boxes to us, and then we are providing them to the customers, so we give them the best solution possible. Yes, it's definitely a big change, especially in the domestic market. There's going to be a big change because they will need to switch now to an OBU, which they have never done before. So especially for our Dutch customers, this is a very important change. We saw the same in Denmark in January 25, that all the customers had to get used to having this GPS box in their trucks. So they need to be much more aware and much more prepared for when the change is coming. So with this new toll system, it means that they need to know which routes are tolled, and especially Netherlands as a special country is actually having a requirement to have an OBU at all times. So even on non-tolled roads, customers will need to have this OBU in their trucks. And it also means that there's way more real-time monitoring of the prices, how much it costs. So for the companies, for the truck companies, you need to be able to see how much were your trips, where before you had one clear-cut price for the year and you were distributing that out to the customers. Now there's going to be a differentiation in the invoicing for the customers from the companies, and also they need to ensure that they have the right solution via us, so they can also control that they don't get fines or they don't get any issues on the road when they're driving. Yes, definitely. It means also now there's a whole new level of the driver needing to check the OBU and needing to control if it's working or not. So prior they could just drive it as they wanted to, there was no issues. Now, as we've seen in other countries, it can be a little bit hard for this change in the domestic side to make sure that all the truck drivers are monitoring this, because if the OBU is not working or there's any issues, you will get a fine. So it's a whole new layer. And that's why we have some different solutions where either you put the responsibility on the driver or you put the responsibility on the fleet manager. And depending on what you prefer for your company, we can provide different solutions there.
So first of all, an onboard unit made for tolling is far away from just an hardware. Modern tolling systems, they are more like a connected platform. We are shifting all OBUs depending on their usage, in which country, from 2G to 4G. Many countries are in a shift mode at the moment. Then we're having over-the-air updates, so-called OTA updates. So the OBU itself carries the latest software, the latest information the OBU needs to operate. Then we have the remote configuration possibility. That means axle, weight, vehicle changes can be carried out really remotely. We have the real-time monitoring, we have telematics service. This all actually reduces errors. This all saves time for the fleet managers, for the drivers, and it's fully transparent. We have the solution, we have it ready. Exactly. What we want to enable is that the fleet managers adapt very quickly to changing regulations and really optimize the operations. So specifically for the Netherlands, we have 3 solutions ready to go. We have firstly the UTA1 Next, which is our EATS onboard unit covering more than 18 countries, 20 toll contexts, which comes along with this onboard unit. Foreseen for international driver, but of course also national drivers. Then we have the UTA Road Pass Pro, which is covering around about 8 countries right now, growing faster with the country coverage as well, but ready to go for the Netherlands, especially for the regional cross borders, corridors. They can of course use this device. Then we have the Netlink onboard unit, which is the national solution from Netlink itself.
We have an amazing sales team and support team depending on what language you're speaking. So we have local teams. So I would always recommend that you give us a call, see which works best for you, and you can communicate in your local language. So for the Dutch customers, we have a very great team that's ready to support.
Make sure you understand the needs of your fleet. Make sure you understand the routes, your main routes at least you want to drive, and operational requirements you have. It's important to prepare also the drivers for this new system, to understand the OBU behavior, to understand the new enforcement system, how the tolling system works. We are here for you. We are ready to give advice and can only support you in finding the right tolling solution.